Good morning to my favorite second graders. I hope you are having a fantastic morning, that you had a delicious breakfast and are ready for our Friday. This whole week, we have been talking and reading Tommy DePaula books. We have read The Art Lesson. We have read Nana Upstairs, Nana Downstairs. We have read Straight-Gonona. We have read Straight-Gonona's Harvest. We have read Bill and Pete. I think that's it. If I am forgetting one, then remind me. But today we're going to continue reading. It's going to be our last book of Tommy DePaula. So if you like him, he has written many, many more books. So I encourage you to check them out. We are going to read another book, Bill and Pete Go Down the Nile. So this seems like maybe it's a series. So if Bill and Pete made you laugh or you liked that book yesterday, and if you like this book today, well, perhaps there are more Bill and Pete books for you to check out. Now, we learned yesterday that Pete is Bill's toothbrush. We also learned that the setting, we talked just for a second about it, that the Nile is a river in Egypt, which is a country, and Egypt is in the continent Africa. So we live in Indiana, which is in the country, the United States. And then the continent that we live on, which continent is just a word to say the big piece of land that we live on, is North America. So they live across. Oh my gosh, you know what? There's a globe here. Hold on. All right, so this is the continent, North America. This is the piece of land that we live on. We live right about here. Now, Africa, the continent of Africa, is all the way across this ocean over here. And Egypt is right here. And then this line, see it? That is the River Nile. So there you go. Globes, put it back. Globes are good to have. You don't see them very often anymore. All right, so let's get going. Bill and Pete Go Down the Nile. I already see something that is similar to our story yesterday. So on the wall it says tomorrow, first day of school. Was that the same as our other book? Yeah. They had to go toothbrush shopping for the first day of school, which was so weird. Tomorrow was the first day of school, and William Everett Crocodile, who was called Bill, and his friend Pete, who was his toothbrush, were getting ready. "Don't forget your new pencil box, Bill," said Mama. "And your new lunchbox," said Pete. "It will be so nice to see Miss Ibis again, Mama," said Bill. "I wonder what you'll learn this year," said Mama. Any predictions? What do you think he's going to learn this year? He learned how to say his letters and write his name last book, so I wonder what he will learn to do this year. The next morning, after kissing Mama goodbye, Bill and Pete started out for school. It was fun to see all the other little crocodiles again. Look at all the little crocodiles with their toothbrushes. "Now, class," said Miss Ibis, "we are going to start this year by studying the history and geography of Egypt and the River Nile." "Oh, goody!" cried all the children. "What did you learn today, Bill?" asked Mama. "We learned all about the River Nile, Mama," said Bill. "It's nice to learn about your own hometown," said Mama. So here's a picture he wrote or drew. The River Nile, the Nile by Bill. My house. I like how he's labeling it. And his mama's looking at that picture. She's like, "Oh, I love it so much." On Tuesday, Miss Ibis told the class about the Sphinx. Today we learned about the Sphinx, Mama, said Bill. You mean Sphinx, Bill, said Pete. And boy, is it weird looking. This is something that maybe I would want to learn more about. If you're thinking the same thing, maybe that is something that you want to type into Epic to see if they have any books on it. I'm going to write it here on a Post-it note. There's how to spell it. If you're thinking, what is that big statue called the Sphinx that's in Egypt? There's how to spell it. Type it into Epic later and maybe learn more about it. On Wednesday, Miss Ibis told the class about all the pharaohs. Another thing. Oh my gosh, there might be so many things in this book that you want to do more research on. I will put that in our slide down below, the words. About pharaohs and pyramids and mummies. The pharaohs built the pyramids so that they could be buried there with all their riches, Miss Ibis told them. When they died, they were wrapped up in long strips of cloth and called mummies. The mummy was put in a beautiful case called a sarcophagus. What did you learn today, Bill? Said Mama. Oh, Mama, we learned about the pharaohs and the pyramids, said Bill. We learned about mummies and esophaguses. You mean sarcophaguses? Said Pete. How exciting. Pete said esophaguses, which is this. It's the piece of your throat that the food goes down before it reaches your stomach. On Thursday, Miss Ibis told the class about the sacred eye of Isis. It's the most valuable jewel in all the world, said Miss Ibis. Oh, said all the little crocodiles. But, she added, there is a saying that whoever owns it has bad luck. Oh, said all the little crocodiles. That is why it is kept in the Royal Museum, said Mrs. Ibis. Now, how would you like to see the Sphinx, the pyramids, and the sacred eye of Isis? Oh, yes, said all the little crocodiles. Well, tomorrow we are going to take a class trip down the Nile. Hooray! They all shouted. Do you have your lunchbox? Asked Mama. Yes, Mama, said Bill. Now, Pete, don't forget to brush Bill's teeth, said Mama. I won't, said Pete. Have a good time and listen to Miss Ibis and do what she says, says Mama. Goodbye, Mama, said Pete and Bill. How do we think this field trip's going to go? Does everyone have their partners? Miss Ibis asked. Yes, Miss Ibis, the crocodiles answered. Then swim forward. Woo! Said all the little crocodiles. There's the Grand Hotel. Oh! Said all the little crocodiles. There's the Sphinx. Bill, said Pete, look at that man in the big car with all the ladies. He must be a pharaoh, said Bill. Watch out for that bad guy, whispered an old crocodile to Bill and Pete as he swam by. Does this remind you of our other book at all? Maybe the men look different, but something similar happened in the other Bill and Pete story. Stay in line, said Miss Ibis as the Nile Queen went by. Oh, said all the little crocodiles. Here we are at the pyramids, said Miss Ibis as the class stepped ashore. Miss Ibis bought the tickets and they all went inside. The guide will hold a big mirror to help light up the passageway so we can see, Miss Ibis exclaimed to the class. Now, as I told you all, the mummies and all the riches are no longer kept here. They are in the Royal Museum, which we will visit next, and where we will see the sacred eye of Isis. Oh, said all the little crocodiles. The class saw mummies and sarcophaguses and the sacred eye of Isis. That's that man again, Bill whispered to Pete. He sure looks familiar. Does he look familiar to you? And then they sat down to eat their lunch. Miss Ibis, may I be excused, said Bill. And he and Pete went inside to find a restroom to brush Bill's teeth. Ooh, good job. Listen to his mama. What do you guys think WC stands for? Aha! Look, Bill, said Pete. I thought I recognized him. The bad guy! He was in disguise. Oh, Mr. Bad Guy, don't, cried Bill. You'll have bad luck. He's trying to get the sacred eye of Isis. Shut up, you walking suitcase, yelled the bad guy, and he locked Bill inside a sarcophagus. Well, that wasn't very nice of him to say. You can't do that to my friend, shouted Pete, and he flew into the restroom to get some toilet paper. Take that, said Pete, and he flew around and around, and presto, the bad guy was a mummy. Then Pete untied a guard who let Bill out of the sarcophagus. Where have you been, William Everett? Scolded Miss Ibis. Why, these two fine fellows saved the sacred eye of Isis from falling into evil hands, said the head of the museum. The bad guy is being taken to Cairo and put in jail. And as a reward, we're going to send you all home on the Nile Queen, which is a big boat. Woo! Said all the little crocodiles. And so, Mama, that's what happened on our first class trip, said Bill. My goodness, said Mama. What an adventure. And Miss Ibis was right, said Bill. The sacred eye of Isis does bring bad luck, especially to bad guys. The end. I like Bill and Pete books. I think that they have a fun friendship. They work together. They bring justice. I will, below this, write some of the words like Sphinx and mummy and pyramid if you want to go on Epic and do some research. That will be your assignment for Mrs. Fields, to find one book about one of those things and share a fact. Okay, so again, I will write, they're spelled a little bit differently. They're hard to spell words, so I will write them in the schedule, and then you can put them into Epic to find a story to listen to about one of those things. And all you have to do is share one fact that you learned, maybe what a mummy is, where the pyramids are, what's inside the pyramids, that kind of thing. Okay? Have a wonderful Friday, and I will see you for our live whole group at 1:45. All right? Goodbye.